What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are back to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 13. And can I tell you something? Marlo, I don't know what you trying to do, but them lazy ass reads, they gotta quit, or you need to quit. Somebody need to go. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So Kenya and Drew are talking on the phone. They're discussing the Jamaica trip and whatnot. And the night before at Sanya's house, when Sanya had Drew done called it Party City decorations and whatnot, and they done clowned her whole situation. And Kenya is like, next time she need to just call me and let me do all the decorating, because that she had going on with the get a caterer, get some better decorations, and just hire me, because this is just, it wasn't giving what it needed to give. So then Kenya tells Drew about her not having a person to come on the trip with her. She says that, her cousin is not going to be able to go because she doesn't feel well. And she's only telling Drew. She's not going to tell everybody else. She'll just let them know once she gets there. But I thought it was interesting that she said, it's her birthday and then her family was going to be there. She was going to stay a couple extra days and hang out with her family. I'm like, well, you couldn't get one of them to come with you on a trip. You just sat up here and wasted these people's money. Like, I'm sure with you not telling them sooner than later, they've pretty much wasted the money on a flight for this individual. And you ain't tell them until literally y'all got on the bus. So it's like, it's within 24 hours. So now they couldn't cancel the room for at least the first day. So you up here wasting these people's money, honey. Like, I think Kenya did that just to prove a point, to say, you ain't gonna tell me I gotta bring a couple. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna come by myself, and you ain't gonna tell me to leave. So I'm like, all right, Kenya, whatever, with your subtle little digs. So moving on. In the next scene, we see Sanya and Ross. They're working out. Ross is like, yeah, I got to make sure I look bright and tight for this trip. And Sanya is like, I know you fucking lying. You going to look just as regular schmegular as you always look. Why you got to get all extra special for this trip? You can look good, just as good as you always do for me, because I'm going to be there with you. So, yeah, you can look the same. So they start working out. Her sister's husband, Terrell, is the one that is training them. And apparently Terrell is also Aaron's best friend. So it all works out well. And I thought it was really cute that the boys, so their son Deuce and her sister and her husband Terrell's son Slade, they were doing push-ups together and working out. And I just thought that was so cute. It's like awesome to see cousins being able to grow up together. They all live in the same house. So I'm sure it's never a dull moment in that house. So Sanya asked Ross if he's talked to the guys, and asked, if they're excited about the trip, if he's excited about the trip. He said, well, I have stuff planned for us to do. So while y'all off bantering and yik yang, talking about a whole bunch of crazy stuff and arguing, basically, we're going to go have fun. And Sanya says, I don't know. I think we got it all out at Sheree's party. Hopefully this trip goes well. I have a feeling it's going to go well. Little did she know. So moving on, Ralph and Drew are at home, and he turns the AC down because he's like, I don't want that wig to lift, child. So let me go ahead and turn this AC down. The kids, the kids ain't here, so they ain't gonna be freezing. So you should be good. So then they talk about Drew's hair, and he loves the wig that he's called Sasha. He likes her hair to be natural, all that good stuff. So then they move into talking about this book. And he says that Drew basically brings up her concerns because apparently the publisher is coming over. So she brings up her concerns about him kind of backtracking on adopting Josiah. So she's like, 1 minute you say you're going to adopt him, but you're writing this book about being a great stepdad and obviously adopting him, but you're backtracking and not doing it. So I'm just not understanding the book. You're just now telling me about this book. Like, I'm just feeling kind of uneasy about it. So he's like, all will be well. You're gonna meet the publisher and whatnot. And he says, yeah, I gotta make sure I let her meet people now because I didn't do the right thing with my assistant. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her meet people because I ain't trying to get in no more daggone trouble. So he basically maintains that he's not adopting Josiah because he had a conversation with Josiah's biological father, and Josiah's biological father says that he still wants to be in his life, so he doesn't really give his blessing for basically for Ralph to adopt him. So I'm just like, okay, so if Ralph can reach out to this guy and have this conversation with him, is he or is he not in his son's life? Because in my opinion, if he's not in Josiah's life, why is he even being considered in any of this? Because if he's not spending time with his son, he's not providing for his son, even though Drew and Ralph live a pretty affluent lifestyle, still, you're his dad. Like, he's your kid. You should provide for him. So Ralph is standing 10 toes down and not adopting him. And that's his reasoning. He ain't changing it. So the publisher comes in. Ralph is super excited to tell Drew about what's going on with this book. And Drew is sitting back like, okay, well, I don't even know what the heck. I just know the premise of the book, but I don't even know if that's really what it's about. Like, I haven't read the book. So the publisher is pretty much kind of telling her, this is going to be a good thing to help people like stepdads and co-parents and whatnot and teach them what to do in these types of situations. And Ralph comes out and asks her, yeah, I really want you to be a part of it. And that's why we wanted to bring you here because we want you to write the foreword. And Drew was like, you sitting up here basically writing a whole book about my child. I don't even know what you're saying about my child. Like, what are you saying about me in this book? Like, I couldn't comfortably write the foreword for this book and I haven't read the book. So I'm just going off of what you're saying. So I'm a respectfully decline that right now until I have more information. But what I didn't like in this moment is I feel like Drew was like uncovering too much in front of the publisher. Like, Drew's need to banter back and forth is very evident. Like, everything pretty much can turn into an argument. Like, I feel like this was a conversation that she should have had in further depth with Ralph beyond the publisher. Like, even if it's something that they need to talk about in their therapy sessions because it's something that's really bothering her, I just feel like this just wasn't the moment for her to like really be going into detail about how she's really disappointed in him not including her in the book, and he's talking about her son. But on the other hand, I get it. She was like, this is my child, like, I birthed him. You don't know nearly as much about him as I do, and you didn't even include me in your process of writing about my kid. So then the publisher is like, I definitely think Josiah should be on the cover with you. You should have a family photo in the back. And I'm kind of with Drew on this. Like, I would feel away because I'm like, you basically about to make a bag off of my child, which, I understand is for the family, but you're not even going to fully adopt him. It's just, it's not given. It's given. It doesn't make any sense. But moving on. Sanya arranges a sprinter to come and pick everybody up, but they get on the sprinter and Aaron notices that he doesn't have his passport. So at midway going to pick up Marlo, I think that was the first person they picked up. So he gets off, gets an Uber back to the house, and he goes back to get his passport, and he's going to Uber back to the airport to make it on time for their flight. So Marlo gets on with her florist child. I'm like, sis, how many flowers is you buying? Why are you buying so many flowers for this man to be the one that you invite? Anyway, well, shit, don't nothing Marlo do make no damn sense anyway. But anyway, she invites the florist, which obviously is not interested in her or anybody like her. And it's like, why don't you have a man? You always talking about everybody else, man, and all this and the third, but you've never brought a love interest around of any sort. Like, whatever, Marlo. So Sheree, everybody gets on the Sprinter van, and Sheree brings a good friend of hers. And then finally, when Kenya gets on, she explains that her cousin is sick, so she's not going to be able to make it. So moving on, they arrive, and they arrive in Jamaica. and they are staying at the Ocean Eden Bay. So I'm gonna look this hotel up because I'm thinking about making me a little trip to Jamaica, but I'm gonna make sure that my coins is right for that because they rich and I'm not. So I'm gonna see what this hotel hitting for. But moving on. Um, Sanya has rose petals in Kenya's room because it's her birthday coming up, and that she has little gift packages for everybody in their rooms. So the first stop is Sanya's room. So they go to the master suite. That's where all the food is and whatnot. So they're all getting ready to sit down to eat. And Sheree says she has to go to the bathroom. So she's getting ready to go to the bathroom. And Marlo, like, what you got to do? Number one or number two? You gotta poop. That's why you try to hurry up and get your key to go to your room. She's like, first and foremost, I only have to pee. And second of all, my poop don't stink. And I was like, Sheree, I mean, okay, girl, whatever. You must just be eating and drinking juices and berries all the time, because that's the only way that you could sit up here and rightfully say that your poop don't stink, honey. But whatever, you like it, I love it. I ain't got to smell it. So moving on, they all eat, and Sanya is like, okay, so um, oh, I need to go back. When they were on a Sprinter van, I thought it was kind of on the way to the hotel. I thought it was kind of shady that saying it was like, okay, everybody introduce who you brought on the trip. And when it got to Kenya, Kenya said, her cousin couldn't come because she was sick. But saying it was like, you were sick. Now your cousin is sick. How convenient. Everybody's sick. I'm like, y'all, why are y'all questioning people's health? This is getting out of hand and ridiculous. Then when Marlo said that her florist was with her child, Candy was like, you couldn't bring one of your sponsors. We ain't never seen you with no man. And I was like, yeah, Candy, you dead on with that one. So then they all are sitting down eating. Sanya is about to pass out the keys. Candy is basically like, come on, say whatever you gonna say, because I'm ready to get to my room and unwind and basically get away from you heifers. So Sanya just starts distributing the keys, and she says, I'm gonna give them I'm giving out the rooms according to who's been the nicest to me. And Candy says, well, I guess Drew gonna be in a closet in her confessional. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. So while she's passing out the keys, Kenya is over there texting her little new boy toy, John, because she met a guy named John as they were driving the golf carts to their rooms. So as they driving the golf carts to the rooms, they see this cute dude, and Sanya basically plays wingman, gets the man's phone number, and invites him to dinner that night with them so that Kenya can get to know him more. So Kenya's like, oh my gosh, it's moving kind of fast, I need to take my time. And Marlo little hating behind as they going into the room talking about something. Did he try to approach her? I know he didn't. She approached him, didn't she? And I'm like, Marlo, you are such a hater. Like, girl, can you take a break from being a hater for once? So everybody goes to their rooms. You see Drew and Ralph in their room. He driving the boat. They drinking and whatnot. Everybody gearing up to have a good old time. And Kenya is in her room, and the guy John comes to her room. And she says her first impression is he's a nice guy. Then Bravo, a little shady behind, show all these dudes clearly wasn't nice that have been in her past. But I'm like, give her a little time. Maybe maybe he might be a good dude. Who knows? Just got to give him some time. So they show her that she sorry y'all, it's late and I'm trying to get through my notes. I just randomly typed all this stuff. So she tells him to prepare for a crazy night of her friends basically asking him a lot of questions. But John was look-a-hooing at Miss Kenya. He was looking her up and down, honey, and he was excited to hang out with her. He liked what he saw. So everybody comes to dinner. Drew and Ralph arrive first, and Drew says to Sanya, because Sanya and Ross are sitting at the table, she says, well, I really liked my room. So did you have a change of heart? Like basically thinking that Sanya was going to give her a bad room. And Sanya says, well, I have a very forgiving heart. And then Sanya says, you know what? I'm just trying to, take it step by step with Drew. I don't really want to be fighting with her. So you know what? The room is an olive branch. Let's just try to move forward. Okay. So everyone is sitting down. Kenya arrives with John. Monietta does the toast and says, toast to good energy and John being on the trip with Kenya for the entire trip. And so Kenya says it's just a dinner date. It's not like he's my fiance or anything, and I'm introducing him to the group, but whatever. So then everybody asked John how old he is, and surprisingly, he's 37. I thought he was younger than that. So I guess there's like a 13 or 14-year age gap between him and Kenya, or maybe more than, yeah, 13 or 14-year age gap between him and Kenya, or maybe more than that, child. I don't know. But she said that she, it's fine. And production says, didn't you say you don't like younger men? She said, I ain't never said that. As long as they between 30 and 60, I'm Gucci. Okay. So moving on, they ask him boxers or briefs, and he says none. I'm like, child, you out here going commando? He was like, yeah, it's a little hot out here, so And Kenya was like, I thought there was an extra leg at the table. I said, oh, now Kenya, you is corny, honey. That's a little corny, but okay, girl. I hope he show you that leg before the end of this trip. Ain't nothing about a little one night stand that you can't handle, okay? Because if you don't like him, you can leave his ass right there in Jamaica. And I guess he's from England, so it will be a long distance thing anyway. So then the waitress comes, and there's two guys over at another table that buys a bottle for the table, which I thought that was really random, but actually really nice. And then Sanya, as the waitress is talking, asks Marlo about the boys. She's like, how are the boys doing? Are they okay? And Marlo says, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't really want to talk about it right now here. So that pretty much gives us foresight, some foreshadowing, if you will, at the blow up that's going to happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So then Sheree asks Ralph about the book that he's writing on step parenting or whatever. And then, Ralph goes on to explain the book and talking about, his role in Josiah's life, and how, even though he's his stepdad, he looks at him like he's his natural born son. So Marlo kind of butts in and asks if he's actually going to adopt Josiah, because she thinks that would be great. That's great that he's going to do that. And she actually wants to confirm whether he's going to do it or not. So then Ralph goes into saying how, he actually decided that he's not going to do that because he had a conversation with Josiah's dad. And Josiah's dad basically told him that, that's not what he really wants for him to do. And again, I maintain that if this man is not in this boy's life, why is he even being considered? So Marlo is like, I was a foster kid, and I wouldn't appreciate that. Like, for somebody to say that they want you and then they don't want you, like, that's really messed up. And it can make him, I hope that he doesn't feel like there's a difference between him and his siblings, because his brother and sister are biologically, Ralph's children. So she doesn't want him to grow up thinking, oh, well, he treats me differently because I'm not his biological kid. And Ralph and Drew both maintain that that's not the case, and that everybody goes about things in a different way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's no blueprint to this. Okay. So Candy says, this wig starts, it's about to go down, y'all. So Candy says she thinks it's weird that Marlo is going so hard about it, and she's going through her own situation with her nephews. And Marlo is still over there questioning Ralph. And then, Drew, of course, backs Ralph up. And in the midst of all this, Candy says, how is it? Because Marlo continues to say that it's weird that he's going to kind of take back adopting Josiah. So Candy says, how is it weird? And Marlo says, you need to worry about your mother coming before your man and how he feels belittled. I'm like, Marlo, what the hell what does Mama Joyce have to do with the cost of tea in China in this moment? Like, I'm telling y'all, this woman is always on the duck hunt for a moment. It never freaking fails. Like, girl, can you just sit down and shut up one good time? Like, I get that you feel so strongly about adoption and foster children and whatnot, but no matter how many times you search for somebody to agree with you on what you did with your nephews, you're not going to find them, because it's trash what you did. It's absolutely trash. And I'm sure that those boys feel a way that you basically gave them up. She talked about at the beginning of the episode with her two assistants how the 30 days is almost up and the boys are coming back. But people have said that you haven't gotten them boys back yet. So what are you saying? You are such a liar. Like, I can't with Marlo, but back to her gaslighting session, child. So then Marlo says Candy says, you don't think it's weird that you sent your nephews away and you over here questioning Ralph. And Marlo said, every man at this table says that they would never deal with you, Candy. And I'm like, did you actually have a conversation with every man at this table? And if you did have a conversation with them about if they going to deal with Candy or not, why would they even care to engage you? So you over here yet again making up stuff, trying to conjure up an argument with people. I don't understand why Marlo feels this intense need to constantly argue with people to make her presence known on the show. There's you could take these things in a totally different angle. Like, you are just looking very angry, irritated, and frankly, you got problems. And it's just really not entertaining at this point. It's very childish. So then Candy says, she says, you can't say anything about his situation after what you did, basically you can't say nothing about Ralph, and you are worse than him. At least he's taking care of Josiah. You sent the kids away. And Marlo says, why would Candy bring up something that is killing me? Like, in her confessional, she's like, this is literally killing me. It's not killing you, because you are very alive in this moment and very much living your best life and looking like you really don't give a damn about sending them kids away. So Candy says, you sent them to their aunt that has kids already, living in a 2-bedroom apartment, which, again, selfish. Marlo is very selfish. Basically, you just wanted your time and space back. It's giving very agitated. It's giving very controlling. It's giving, I want to live my best life and I don't want to be tagged to anybody. And the kids probably had a front row seat to your BS. They probably see your late night suitors and whatnot, and they see all the trifling stuff that you do that nobody else would see because they don't live with you. So did you send the kids away to do your dirt? I don't get it. Did your suitor want to come and stay with you for a while and you ain't want the kids to see him? I don't know. This is just me thinking it up. Okay. So Candy says, Marlo says, didn't you take care of your nephew? And Candy says, yes, I did. He's a grown man and I never sent him away. I took care of him. I never sent him away. And I also have taken care of other kids in my family. Like, what are you saying? And so Marlo says, you take care of a man and your family. And Candy says, you lost your fucking mind. I do not take care of Todd, and don't disrespect my husband who's sitting right here. And she says, my husband always had a great job. And she said, Marlo tries it and she's just trying to get under her skin. So Marlo says, you can't be a mother and work as hard as you do. Let me stop you right here. Y'all got to stop this whole narrative with women not being able to work hard and be bosses. Like, what? It's the same thing with Melody Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because she works a lot, she's being condemned as a mother. Like, y'all got to get rid of that 1960s, 1970s energy of the mom sitting at home and baking cookies and making dinner and rubbing the daddy's feet when he get home. That's just not life anymore. It's not. And frankly, financially, it wouldn't work in this society. Like, people are getting married so that they can live comfortably. It's hard to live on your own now with one daggone income, because minimum wage is very minimal and you will be a minimalist. Okay. So stop with the Candy work so much. If she can do it and her family is okay with it and they're making it work, why are you in somebody's business? As long as her children are properly taken care of while she's going to get the bag, again, why is it any of your business? You clearly couldn't take care of your nephews, and then you go ahead and send them over there as an extra burden to your sister that is working a full-time job and has 4 children of her own and probably doing it by herself, stressing her the hell out. So why is that okay? What type of work are you doing that's taking you away from the boys where you need to be away from them for 30 days? I haven't seen you do nothing but sit in that empty ass store you got. What else is going on? But moving on, getting back to the shenanigans of it all. Candy says, yes, I can work as hard as I do. Does everybody here work? So she goes around the table and asks first Kenya. Kenya was like, yeah, I work and I work all day. Okay. And all the other ladies were like, yeah, I work too. So I don't know what she's talking about. So Candy said, I can't relate to you because I've never told my kids to get the fuck out. And Marlo continues to talk about Candy, her mom, and Todd. And I'm like, girl, that is so over. Mama Joyce ain't thinking about Todd. She didn't realize. She like, oh, well, I guess he is going to stick around, child. I might as well be nice to him. So why are you making it an issue if they don't have any more issues? Like, why are you minding their business for real? Where's your mother? Where's your daddy? Where your family besides your sister? Why are you so concerned? Is what I want to know. It's like Marlo is just her practiced reads and practice digs that she has going on. I feel like she sat in her room that night before they came to dinner in Jamaica to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to get under this person's skin today. It's like you rehearsing all of your foolishness. So moving on, Marlo continues to talk about Candy, her mom, and Todd. Candy says, get a husband. Then you can tell me what to do with mine. And I know that's right, sis. How you gonna tell me what to do with a husband? And we ain't even seen you with a boyfriend. Hell, we ain't even seen you with a one-night stand. Where is your man? Because clearly he ain't Mr. Flores man ain't it. He's doing a lot less. He's not pruning your flowers, okay? So what is going on? So Marlo says she fucks with Todd more than a lot of the men at the table. And Todd, at this point, he done had a damn enough. So he says, Todd says, you are a fucked up individual because you saying stuff that isn't true. And I know you bought your way into this circle and no one was your friend. I was behind the scenes during all of this shit. So basically, Todd is talking about, because Todd used to be on the production team. So he was behind the scenes with Bravo. So he knew everything, the ins and outs and the outs and ins of the show. So he basically aired Marlo's dog ass out and let her know, listen, don't try to play me right now because I know your tea. So you might want to shut the fuck up right now. So Marlo says, Todd said Candy was country and lame and he didn't fuck with her in the beginning. And Candy says, well, I guess he loves this country bumpkin. And I'm like, child, Marlo, now you know you daggone lying. That man, why would he even date her? Why would he marry her if he thought she was a country bumpkin and she wasn't his type? What is your type? Again, we haven't seen you with a man. Does a man want you? Do you want a man? What do you want? Maybe you hanging around these ladies because maybe you think you can get with one of them one day. I don't know what's going on in Marlo's life. And I would think that on a show like this, you need to showcase a little bit more, a lot of bit more than your issues with your nephews. Like we need to see relationships, the ins and outs of that. And it's given very toxic. Like nobody wants to stick beside you. Moving on. Candy says, you a lying ass bitch. And Marlo says, bitch, you ain't nobody. You only known in Atlanta. Child, I almost dropped my phone when I was writing these notes. Let me tell you something, Marlo. What you will not do is disrespect. You better put some respect on Candy V. Burris' name, okay? Candy has paved the way for so many Black people to have opportunities in the industry and working in business, period. Okay. Now I know you fucking lying. That girl is known anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't walk down the street without a bodyguard. So just knock it off. The next time you play a song on the radio, I'm pretty sure she may have co-wrote or wrote the most of it. Okay. And don't try to just say escape. Candy is known for so much more. And then Sheree gonna try to say, yeah, Candy, yeah, she has written a lot of songs, but I mean she was an escape. But you know, she did go on Broadway, that's only in New York. Sheree, are you kidding me? She's also on The Shy. She's also been on several other TV shows outside of this one. What are you saying right now? Do y'all not know your friend? Or it's giving haters. It's giving a lot of haters because this woman right here is definitely a mogul, not in the making, but currently. Put some respect on her name. Marlo, what are you known for? Hand jobs and head jobs? Are you the master at that? Allegedly? backseat rump sessions? Because it seemed like the word on the street is that's all you known about. Okay, to pay for stuff. Moving on. So Candy says, bitch, I'm worldwide. You over here showing your true colors. And she said, bitch, when you was in Japan, you can play my songs, the ones I sing and the ones I write. Put some respect on her name. And I'm going to say it again. So Todd says, I didn't even talk to you. You was the one in Africa throwing money around. And then they do like a reel of her, of Marlo throwing money around looking ghetto in Africa. John, Kenya's date at this point, saying is like, hold on, where John at? He done rolled on out. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and head on out. I'm pretty sure y'all can handle this dinner. Somebody will pay for it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make my way on out because this right here, it's giving ghetto. I can't. I don't want to be a part of any of this. I will text you later, Kenya, if I feel like it, because nope, not gonna sit here. So he gone. All right. So Todd says, John leaves the table. Sanya tries to calm the situation and reminds them to be on their best behavior tomorrow. Okay. And Candy and Marlo both apologize. And Todd says, anybody else thirsty? Basically calling Marlo as thirsty. And Marlo says, is anyone else broke? Bitch, you probably the brokest one, you and Sheree, probably the brokest mofos at this table. Don't come for Candy and Todd's coins. Please don't. Because y'all want to sit up here and act like this man was broke when he met her. He was not no regular guy. He was on a TV, like Todd was a television producer. What is wrong with you? That is a very, very good salary. So what is you saying right now? He had his own shit. He wasn't some peasant that Candy picked up off the street and built up. Now, did she already have more money than him? Yes, but she probably would have more money than most men, unless she dated somebody in her circle. And even then, I think in the past she said that she really don't like dating people in the industry because of the tumultuous situations that it causes, and being in the public eye, everybody all in your business. So Marlo, you just be saying shit just to say it. And you and your dry edges need to get the fuck on. You done had this surgery for your edges, but child, you probably done snatched them out digging for them terrible ass reads that you tried to give Candy because you missed the mark on every single one. Okay. So moving on. Candy says bye lonely, and Marlo says bye in denial. What is she in the child? I can't no more with Marlo. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for commenting. Please, thank y'all for watching. Please don't forget to like. It's a free way to support me. Comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watched this episode too. And let's talk about it in the comments. Do y'all think that Marlo was doing too much? Like, what is her purpose on this show? I can't even begin to chow. But I mean, what would we be talking about if she wasn't going off and doing what she's doing? It's slightly entertaining, but now it's starting to get hella annoying. But anyway, y'all, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.